I received a comment from one of my viewers. Sir, my wife is a narcissistic person. I've been suffering a long time, adjusting because of my 11-year-old son. He's a sensitive, emotional person, always torturing behavior from her, all day highly triggering situations. Counselors say we cannot change their behavior, only adjustment. So I have only one question, sir. Can I change her using Hooponopono prayer? Because all law of attraction coaches say outer world is our mind reflection. So, can Hooponopono change another person? No. Hooponopono is not another way to control another human being. So if I cannot use Hooponopono to change them, what is my responsibility? My brother, you've been trying to live with something that is painful and exhausting while also carrying concern for your son. And you've been essentially told that you cannot change her, only adjust. So I know this is not theoretical for you. You're trying to figure out what you can do in the situation that feels difficult and emotionally charged. So I want to say this as clearly as I can, because the answer matters for you, for your son, and for anyone watching who is in a similar situation. So let me say it again. Hooponopono is not a remote control. Even if I'm coming from good intentions, even if I want to protect my boy, if I'm using a spiritual practice to make another person behave the way I want them to behave, it is still manipulation. I'm trying to control something that is not mine to control. Your wife's choices are hers. Your wife's memories are hers. It is your wife's path. Responsibility does not mean I can interfere with her choices or try to arrange her life so I stop suffering. My responsibility is only to the memory that is active in me and is playing in me. My thoughts, my judgments, my emotions, the fear, the helplessness, what I believe I must be as a father and as a husband in the situation. Those are data and memories active in me. That is what I clean. That is 100% responsibility. You also said something important, that the law of attraction teachers tell you that the outer world is a reflection of your mind. This does not mean I can use my mind to arrange another human being. A reflection is showing me what is active in me. How am I seeing my wife? What am I judging? What am I afraid of? What do I need her to become before I can be okay? That is what I look at. So this is the first thing to look at. In Hooponopono, our feelings are memories. Anger, memory. Helplessness, memory. Grief is memory. That's true. Those are happening in you. But there's one more memory in there that no one talks about. And it is probably one of the strongest memories in all of us. It's the wanting. You want her to change. You want her to be different. You want her to soften. You want her to finally see what she has done. You want her to become the wife you thought you married. That wanting for her to be someone other than who she is actually right now, that is a memory. That is data active in you. And it's the first thing to clean on. Not on her, but clean on the wanting for her to change. Because as long as you're caught in wanting her to change, you're not fully with your life as it is now. You're living with an imagined version of your life. You're living in the hope that she will finally change. You're living in a version of her that does not exist in this moment. And every day she's not the wife you want her to be, you suffer. And so now you're not only dealing with what she did that day, you're also dealing with what she did not become for you. That is double suffering. I'm not saying that what she did not hurt, or what she's doing does not hurt. I'm saying there can now be another layer of pain. The need for her to become different before you can be okay. Now, it does not mean her behavior is acceptable. And it does not mean 100% responsibility requires you stay there and just take it. You're not a doormat. You can set a boundary. You can leave. You can protect your son. 100% responsibility means my ability to respond in this moment. It means the reaction does not have to decide the action. There's a difference. Reaction is automatic. It comes from the past. Response is now. And sometimes the response is compassion. Compassion for yourself, for your son, for the other person, for the situation. And sometimes you walk away. You look at the situation in front of you and you deal with what is actually there, based on what you understand and what you're able to do now. The past, the hurt, and the fear may still be there, but they do not have to decide your response. Now, if I keep finding myself being hurt, adjusting, enduring, waiting for the other person to change, then I also have to be willing to look here. What is happening in me that I keep finding myself in this pattern of being hurt and enduring it? I am not responsible for another person's behavior. I did not cause my wife to behave this way. Her behavior belongs to her, but my relationship to her is happening in me. How I respond to her is happening in me. And that is where my responsibility begins. You said, my wife is a narcissistic person. My brother, you did not marry a diagnosis. You married a woman. You married a human being. And then life happened. Things happened between the two of you. A quarrels, words were exchanged, arguments, there was hurt, things were repeated. And after a while, you started seeing a pattern. Maybe you recognize a tone from your wife, maybe a look from her, and then you already know, here we go again. So the two of you have history together. That's human. But there is a big difference between my wife is acting in a narcissistic way and my wife is a narcissist. One tells me what she's doing. The other tells me who she is. And once I decide who she is, then I start seeing everything she does through that decision, through that filter. Now all the history comes with her. The argument, the disappointment, the times I felt dismissed and powerless. And so when she says something today, I'm not only hearing what she said today, but I'm also hearing the past. Judgment says, this is who she is. And then you feel the anger, the hurt, the resistance. And then the emotion seems to prove the judgment. See, I knew it. That's who she is. That's her. So the judgment generates the emotion. And then the emotion makes the judgment even more true. And after many years of repetition, of rehearsing the past, the memory, the judgment, and the emotion start feeling like things happening in me. The memory starts to feel like me, my identity. And the same thing happens with how I see her. The history starts feeling like history. It starts to feel like her. The woman I've known through all that hurt can start to feel like the totality of the human being. So now two identities are locked together in my mind. She's the narcissist, and I'm the one suffering because of her. Now look at this push-pull inside of that. I'm pushing against who I think she is, and at the same time, I'm pulling towards what I need her to be so I can be okay. I don't want this wife. I want that wife. That is the push-pull. And all of that is memory active in me. Hooponopono does not ask me to pretend that the hurt is not real. It does not ask me to deny her behavior. Her behavior is hers. But the judgment I carry about her is happening in me. I'm carrying the version of her in my mind that's happening in me. The hope that she will become different is happening in me. And how I respond to what she does is also happening in me. That is my responsibility. I'm not cleaning my wife, the narcissist. I'm cleaning what happens in me when all the years of hurt, judgment, and memory come into this moment. Because until I can see memory as memory, I will keep calling it me, and I will keep calling it her. That's where the work is. That's where the cleaning is, in me. Now maybe she changes. Maybe she doesn't change. Hooponopono is not a bargaining tool. Cleaning happens now. Responsibility is what I can do now. And because there is an 11-year-old boy involved, I want to come back to your son again. So here's the question. What kind of father can I be when I'm not completely consumed by trying to change her? Hooponopono is not how you gain control over another person. It is where you stop letting the past decide who that person is and who you have become around them. Her behavior is hers, but the memory is mine. This is what I clean.